objective, after listening to this module, you'll be able to describe performance consequences of stress. Performance consequences of stress. True or false? Surgical performance by surgeons is affected by stress. That is true. Results of one study indicate that although stress had positive and negative effects, excessive levels of stress impaired judgment, decision-making, and communication, especially among junior surgeons. So here's another example that some stress is good, but not too much. Again, athletic performance is affected by stress. Too little as well as too much compromises an athlete's performance. One study took a look at performance, mental rehearsal, attentional skills, and competitive anxiety in gymnasts who participated in a stress management program. One group received the stress management training and another group did not. The group who received the stress management program demonstrated superior performance, mental rehearsal, and attentional skills. It was interesting that they had higher competitive anxiety levels, but it was thought that these higher levels were facilitative rather than debilitative. So again, it appears that some stress positively influences athletic performance. So what does this have to do with you if you're not an athlete? Some of the same thought processes in an athlete, such as being able to concentrate and focus, are the same thought processes that positively influence performance at school. We've talked about how stress affects your body and some health consequences associated with those physiological changes, but let's talk about how stress affects your thinking and consequently your performance. Would you agree that creative and innovative thinking and the ability to focus are at the heart of your performance at school? Physiological and psychological effects of stress on our brain and mind compromise creativity and innovation and ability to focus. Studies show that when people are under stress, their thought processes narrow. This narrowing of attention, by definition, prevents divergent thinking, which is the foundation of creativity. Divergent thinking is the ability to see connections between very distantly related ideas and context. Divergent thinking is an important component of quote-unquote thinking outside the box. When people are in a positive emotional state, their ability to make more distant, novel connections and associations increases. Thus, stress compromises, at the most fundamental neurological level, one of the foundational skills of creativity and innovation, which affects any type of performance that requires you to think. In many ways, the brain is like a computer. If memory capacity is low or impaired, performance will be slower, less efficient, and there will be less information that can be processed at a given time. There's also greater risk of errors in decision-making if the brain cannot process all the necessary information. It's also interesting to note that stress hormones such as cortisol have the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and impair cognitive function. Academic performance. In a nationwide survey that was conducted by the National College Health Association, stress was rated as the #1 health impediment to academic performance. Based on this study, most of the top 10 health impediments to academic performance were associated with mental health issues such as stress. And actually, sleep difficulties, concern about a family member or friend, relationship difficulties, depression, and death of a family member or friend are all stressors. So if you add those up and include them under the stress umbrella, stress is a huge impediment to academic performance. Results of a study done at the University of Minnesota found that students who reported 8 or more emotional stressors had an average GPA of 2.72, while those who reported no significant stress had an average GPA of 3.3. Items that were reported as stressors were things such as credit card debt, failing a class, and conflicts with parents. What do you think? Stress was shown to affect academic performance the most in which group of students? First-year students, second year, third year, fourth year, or graduate students? According to the NCHA study, it looks like the academic performance for students in their third year are affected the most by stress, and grad students report that stress affects their academic performance the least. Stress and job performance. Researchers examined occupational stress and performance among nurses and found that ratings of interpersonal aspects of job performance like sensitivity, warmth, consideration, and tolerance, and cognitive motivational aspects such as concentration, composure, perseverance, and adaptability correlated significantly with self-reported perceptions of stress, depression, and hostility. There are many studies that show a negative correlation between job stress and job performance. In other words, job stress has been shown to significantly reduce performance of an employee. Driving ability. What about our ability to drive a car? Does stress affect our driving ability? Research has shown that human beings in the grip of negative and sometimes positive emotions have exhibited a distraction level even more serious than those experienced by cell phone users while driving. Such emotions can cause dimmed or otherwise impaired observation and reaction times, failure to recognize situations such as an abrupt slowing of traffic or debris in the road, inability to predict or to determine what the other drivers around us are doing, risky maneuvers and risky changes such as cutting across several lanes of traffic to take an off-ramp, suddenly changing lanes, or even driving on the freeway shoulder. Key points. Stress affects our thinking processes, specifically our ability to focus and be creative and innovative, which affects academic performance in college students and job performance among employees. Stress affects not only our thinking processes, but physical abilities such as athletic performance and driving. And that's it.